This is Hard Hat Conversations. I'm your host, Richard, stationed here in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. Today is Monday, October the 13th, 2025. This is a podcast about telling the truth and learning some stuff and understanding what's going on in the world. So let's do it. Folks, I got to go to my notes. I love going to my notes because I work for a living, folks. I'm not sitting at home all day doing nothing. So check this out, folks. Today is Columbus Day, folks. Yeah, I know a lot of you forgot about it, but today is officially Columbus Day. And here's my question, folks out there. Should we still celebrate Columbus Day? That's today's question. Should we? I know there's some different views on it. I'm older and used to celebrating it and stuff. I know a little more history about it. Does it change my mind a little bit? Of course it does a little bit. Once you know some of the background of anything that we celebrate, good or bad, it's going to change our minds a little bit. So let's go into it, folks. Should we celebrate Columbus Day? Please like, subscribe, and comment on it. Your opinion is well needed. You have a right to have an opinion, whether you agree or disagree. You still have a point of view, and this need to be heard. Okay, as long as you do it in a safe and good manner, there's nothing wrong with debate, and then there's nothing wrong with disagreeing, folks. So, should we still celebrate Columbus Day? Folks, when they was doing the Confederate flag thing, taking down the flag in certain places and saying abandon that flag and stuff like that, a lot of people were saying that we need to get rid of that flag, especially black people like myself was saying, we need to get rid of that flag. It's a flag about slavery, oppression, Jim Crow law, and everything else above, right? Some people say, no, it's a flag of pride and, it's our flag. So how do we meet, folks? On the other hand, you have people that didn't look at it as racist. They looked at the Confederate flag as a pride symbol, like we look at the United States flag as a pride symbol, or any other nation that look at their flag as a pride symbol of the South, of the Confederate. Then you got the dark side of the Confederate with the slavery going on under that flag. So is that flag part of the slavery movement? Some can say yes, and some will say no. Is the United States flag? Is it under on the same yoke? What they did when they came in and took away the Indian lands, when they brought slavery over. Is that part of the same thing? So could we mix them all together? Or maybe I'm going way out of the way, folks. You tell me. So, the small little bit about Columbus, he came over here and so-called discovered the new world. He was Italian. Italian like to celebrate him and stuff like that. And let me read you this, folks, off my phone. I know a lot of Catholics like Christopher Columbus. Bear with me 1 second, folks. I'm getting to it. I'm slow. Italian American heritage. The holiday originally arose to combat persecution of Italian immigrants and is seen by many as a symbol of Italian people pride and contributions to American culture. So they used Columbus Day because the Italians came over for a short period of time and they was persecuted, called all kind of grease balls, all kind of other racial names and stuff like that when they first came over. Spaghetti eating and all that stuff, just like they do with black people with chicken and stuff like that. Jewish people, matzo ball soup and all that stuff, Chinese rice and all this stuff. You get my drift. So once again, the Italian American heritage, the holiday originally arose to combat persecution. We all know what persecution is, folks. Everybody been through it. Of Italian immigrants and is seen by many as a symbol of Italian American pride and contribution to American culture. Most people when they come in, they want to fit in, you know. With blacks, we didn't get a chance to do that because was brought in chains. We're the only immigrants that was brought in to change. Whether people want to hear that or not, we have to speak the truth. This is a hard hat conversation. But to say that, I said, is that the other Americans that came over, they was persecuted in some way because they were newbies. You know, you had the regular folks that been here a long time, and then these newbies coming in, the Irish, Italian, Polish people, all kind of stuff was coming in. So they had to go through the little small bit of persecution and stuff. But nothing like the black folks experience. Let's just be honest, folks. I'm not patting myself on the back because I wish our people didn't have to go through. I wish we could have went to a short stint like the Italians and everybody else and just blended on in. But it was kind of hard for us to blend in because we've been here for so long, and they thought we wasn't human beings anyway. And plus, the darkness of our skin really didn't help none at all. So that's why Italian Americans love Christopher Columbus Day because it was doing when they was being persecuted by the natives here in America already. Now, here's the other thing: a lot of people that why they don't like Christopher Columbus Day. Some say critics emphasize that Columbus' arrival marked the beginning of centuries of genocide. I mean, getting rid of certain people, slavery, exploitation of indigenous people. That's the people that already been here, folks. So that's why some don't like it. And it seems like Columbus is seen as a painful uh, of Native American history and culture, which are often overshadowed. You know, it was horrendous for them. So I could see both sides, folks. Like I said, it's all that conversation. We try to be fair and understand why people think this way and act this way. So I understand why the Catholics and the Italian people love it. They celebrate that parade, and I see why the indigenous people don't like it because they was put in handcuffs, slavery, land taken, all sorts of things. So the question again: should we still celebrate Columbus Day after knowing all these two things I just gave you, the pros and the cons? Should we celebrate it? You be the judge of it. Like, subscribe, comment. All right, folks, let's go to the next big thing. I got this Cleveland Brown shirt on for a reason, folks. Like I said, I'm Richard. I'm here stationed in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. The day is Monday, October the 13th. Our weather is so beautiful. We've been blessed so far because usually start getting cold up here. So let me be quiet about it. We just had a major announcement on our local news today, folks. I just got off work, so I caught the tail end of it. The Browns, led by Jimmy Haslam, the owner, and his wife, they so-called having this, I call it a fake battle because they saying that Jimmy Haslam can't move to Brook Park, which is Brook Park, for you folks that don't know how far Brook Park is from Cleveland, it got to be no more than, 10 minutes or something. You know, depending on if you're on the east side. The west side is even shorter. Maybe 15 minutes from the east side, 15, 20 minutes from the east side, 10 minutes from the west. That's how close it is, folks. So it's like going next door. But the point is, they were saying, we're going to do this, we're going to sue you, blah, 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 blah. You know, a lot of dog and pony show. At the end of the day, the billionaire, he's going to get what he wants because he got the money to move and to make things happen. If this is hard conversation, the rich man gonna do, or the rich woman, she gonna get hers sooner or later. If she got the money, money talks. You know what else, Walt? This is our reality. This is the world we build. This is capitalism, folks. Money rules the world. It's what it is. Hey, it is what it is. I'm just stating the fact. I wish it wasn't like that, but in some instance, it's like that. Now, you as an individual, you don't have to be like that. But in this big corporate world where millions and billions of dollars being spread around, they love that, and they're going to be in it, and nobody's going to stop them from doing what they want to do. For the most part, it's rare that happens, folks. This is our reality. So, not to get off, So the Browns, I got to go to my notes, folks. Like I said, I just saw this at the end. I just got off work. So Mayor Bibb is the mayor of the city of Cleveland. And he had an announcement. He had Jimmy Haslam up there on a, like I said, you can Google it, look up one of the local television stations in Cleveland. You'll see the interview and stuff, the, the conference and stuff. They come to a deal. Now, I'm going to do my best not to misquote. And I wrote some numbers down. I may be off one or two, or maybe I'm not. But like I said, I just got off work. I'm using excuses. Folks, I'm sorry, but it is what it is, right? Um, Jimmy Haslam and the mayor of the city of Cleveland come to agreement where they said, the city of Cleveland said, Mayor Bill said, I'm going to drop my lawsuit. I'm not going to fight you no more. We come to an agreement. Jimmy Haslam said he going to help tear down that stadium. What my notes say? They said the stadium is estimated around $30 million to demolish that garbage down there. And then we're going to invest in making that area a beautiful area. I don't know what they haven't told us, no plans or nothing. My guess is more restaurants, parks and trails and bike trails, and I'm just throwing out, folks. I don't know what they're gonna decide to do, but that's the only thing I can think of what they can put there. You know, it's only a certain amount of area right there. So they all come to an agreement. They're going to drop the lawsuit. The stadium is going to be built. No more news talking about they fighting in the stadium, which I got tired of listening to that fake stuff because they know that man was going to Brook Park and they kept talking about it. All the news stations kept talking about well the city's fighting them, whatever, believe that if you want to. I just got tired of listening to the garbage, Sometimes, you get tired of being rained on. And you know what the other saying, don't, down my back and tell me it's raining. But that's all they was feeding us, a bunch of fake goods. We knew the man was moving. Same way they did with Art Modell. If you was around that area, they ain't going nowhere. The city gonna fight him. He ain't moving. These people are going to move. They are backed by one of the most powerful organizations in the world called the NFL, the National Football League. We talking about billions and billions and billions of dollars. You think they're gonna let one little country town city like Cleveland and one little mayor and this little couple of lawyers gonna stop them from doing what they want to do? Come on, man. Come on. Just like I said, come on, folks. You know that ain't gonna happen. But anyway, folks, I'm getting off because I'm doing a lot of commentary, but I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. So here we go. They're gonna give 30 millions. I don't know what Jimmy Haslam said. He's gonna get 30 millions to tear that down, which I don't know. I'm not a tax person. You probably can write that off or use it as an excuse to do something with it where you don't have to pay the money, of course. All that conversation, folks. Let's keep it going. Here's my question. There's $600 million that Governor DeWine allocated to Jimmy Haslam without the taxpayers voting on it, saying yay or nay. Why didn't they just give that to the city of Cleveland to tear that down and redevelop it without having this rich businessman involved? Why didn't the state just do that? Isn't Cleveland more important than Jimmy Haslam? We're part of the state. Jimmy Haslam could just jump up and go. Remember, he came from the Tennessee area, I think. So he's not from here. He's not a Buckeye. So Governor Ryan, you've been around here a long time. You could just gave that money to the city of Cleveland, help them out, and redo that lakefront. That's helping one of your big major cities. I know you're on your way out the door, Governor DeWine, but come on now, give us a piece of the pie. I'm just saying, folks, this all that conversation. Like, subscribe, and comment. Can we have these regular conversations, or are we afraid? We're taxpayers, folks. That money they giving away is our money, folks. We got the right to say what we want to say. Come on. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with what I just said? If I'm lying, Google it. But I don't think I'm lying. It's right there in your face. They say throw something in somebody's face, and they still won't believe it. $600 million, folks, they're giving this man to help build his business. Think about it, folks. Oh, well, he's going to bring jobs. I get all that, folks. I get that. Yeah, we don't mind a little bit of tax subsidies. Hey, DeWine, why don't you help us with our property tax and give us a break? We got all that COVID money. You only gave $5 million out to 5 people. You could have wrote everybody a stimulus check. That would have paid somebody property taxes for a year, maybe. Just saying, folks. Not trying to start no trouble. Just saying. You're going to get 5 people $5 million during COVID in some kind of fake lottery that we didn't see nobody pull no names or nothing. Could have just gave the whole state a stimulus check. Everybody could have benefited from it. How come always a few only can benefit from it? You know why? That's the rich man's mind. Only a few can benefit. Everybody can't be rich. They'd rather keep you down and keep you happy. If you stay down, you're going to try to work harder and harder for them and make them more money. But I don't want to go off, folks. That's for another show. Let's stay on it. But they could have gave us that $600 million. Tell Jimmy Haslam, get on out of here. You move out of Cleveland anyway. Build your own stadium. Who cares? No, we got to stay in Cleveland. You know why Jimmy Haslam and the mayor agree with this? And I ain't saying, folks, it's just hard conversation, making a comment. I got a right to the opinion. Not saying nothing on nobody, but isn't an election coming up? Have you ever heard that before, folks, with politicians? You know, they make this big announcement or they try to find something, they fighting crime or something when it's close to election time, you know. Something big come up right before it's election time because, you know, we all got short-minded, including me. You know, we forget about yesterday news just like that. So he's up for re-election. This going to put him over the hump. Even though we don't have a plan of what they're going to put down there after they tear down that dump, we haven't seen no diagrams, no nothing. You know what? We ain't going to see that till after he get reelected. And they're going to put down there whatever the H they want down there. You can best and believe, folks, they're going to put whatever they want down there in that little small area. So, here's another thing, folks. Please like, subscribe, and comment with the Jimmy Haslam and the Mayor Bibb handshake. Jimmy Haslam says something about for the next 20 years, folks. Listen to me now. For the next 20 years, he's supposed to give $2 million a year to the city of Cleveland. Add that up, folks. A lousy $2 million to help with some garbage down there. They talk so fast, folks. It's like I was buying a car, like a used car sale. I couldn't keep up. But $2 million for the next 20 years. What is $2 million going to do for the city of Cleveland for the next 20 years? That's like giving somebody a quarter. Oh, and here's another thing. The city will get another, I hope I wrote it right, folks. Give the city $100 million over the next 30 years. Listen to me now, folks. You don't believe me? Google it. Look it up. For the next 30 years, folks. Let's see. Next 30 years, I probably won't even be here. For the next 30 years, the Jimmy Haslam's going to donate $100 million. And they excuse me, folks, and they're supposed to give the first down payment of $25 million by December the 1st. 30 years. They ain't paying nothing. The interest alone gonna pay that garbage. Of them, they money sitting in the bank or invested. They ain't paying nothing. Hey, folks, that's all that conversation. I ain't done yet. Sit down. I ain't done. And they gonna be double dipping, folks. Check this out. Maybe I'm wrong, folks. Light Scribe coming. So the Haslam's moving to Brook Park, taking all the facilities there. Listen to me, folks. They're moving to Brook Park. They're going to help tear down that rag down there. And then they're going to invest some money, $100 million for the next 30 years in the development of where they're moving from. So they're going to have all that money they're getting over here in Brook Park. And then when Cleveland decides to develop over there, where they ran away from that area, they're going to be investing in there and build all that money up over there. So they're going to have a say-so what's going on in Brook Park and Cleveland. And the mayor signed up on that. So who's a win-win here? Is it two residents of the city of Cleveland? Nada. Jimmy Haslam winning all the way around. The mayor's, he got what he wanted. He's going to get reelected. Remember, he said he'd been to the man's house. They signed the deal undercover. You had to go to the man's house to bend the knee. You got to do what you got to do. I guess Bill, he wants to move up the ladder. Maybe be governor. Maybe he want to be another Obama. You got it. Politics is something else. So if they can talk about it, why can't we talk about it? Why are we all crazy and stupid? Because they climbing the ladder with our tax dollars. Everything they doing, they're not earning it. They get it off the backs of our backs, the county, everything. Well, I don't live in the city of Cleveland. You don't have to live in the city of Cleveland. You live in the county, right? Cuyahoga County, right? You paying for it. Beechwood, Pepper Pike, Cleveland Heights, University Heights, Maple Heights, Garfield Heights, Palmer, Strongsville. Y'all paying for it. Y'all love y'all entertainment, right? So they dipping. Jimmy Haslam got his. Mayor Beard got his. And the poor neighborhoods of Cleveland got zero. Because none of those folks living in those poor neighborhoods can afford to go down there in those fancy restaurants and all them stores. There's not going to be a Rally's down there when they develop that lakefront. They're not going to be a McDonald's. Who knows? Maybe they put McDonald's down there. I don't know, but it's rare. You go downtown now, there's nothing down there really. Too much to go crazy. I don't know what they did with Tower City. It was the jewel of Cleveland. Now it's nothing, just sitting there rotting. Maybe there's a few things going on that I just don't know about, but maybe I'm wrong. But hey, it is what it is. So good win for the Browns, good win for Jimmy Haslam, and good win for the mayor. And the poor residents of the city of Cleveland that's living in poverty, they get no help. Still got a lot of abandoned houses. You know, still got the little street crimes going on, motorcycles still roaming the streets. Still got a lot of blight, you know. They still not enforcing the laws of landlords, not sitting there, not in all those abandoned houses. They need to take some of that money and fight them battles more better. Pass some legislation to get that stuff done quickly. But hey, we got to take care of downtown, right, folks? So all that conversation, we got to tell the truth. Not done yet, folks. Bear with me. I got to stay on this for a minute. So when they build that pretty Cleveland Browns stadium, it's going to be called the Cleveland Browns Stadium, right? You know, they could change the name later on down the line, right? Could be Progressive Field, Pepsi Arena or something. You know, money talks, you know. Who cares about? Because they're not going to be in Cleveland no more. Why call it the Cleveland Browns Stadium? You got the Cleveland Browns team, but you can change the stadium name. It was First Energy downtown. So I wonder what name they're going to name it. I don't know any name. What's a big company here that don't have a name on the stadium? All State Stadium. I don't know. Whatever, folks. Will that stadium take away from places like this? Help me out, folks. Like, subscribe, comment. When they build that stadium, folks, go to my notes. You got the Wolfstein Center still downtown. You got Gun Arena down there still having events. And you got the Huntington Convention Center all downtown, right there. Will that hurt them? I know they all been doing stuff right now while the Brown Stadium down there, but it's an open air thing. But now once they get this so-called dome thing, which I don't mind the dome, folks. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against the dome. I'm against the way they're going about it. I know we got to use some taxpayer money, but let's take care of something at home before we give it the rest of the bag to the rich man, okay? Let's do that, one man. So we got one man controlling Brook Park area and parts of downtown still. Amazing. Can you blame him? He's a businessman. He's burning on both ends of the candles. He like, I'm going to take your team away, put it in another city, and make lots of money. And I'm going to stay in your city behind the scenes and help develop this piece of land over here and make money. All right. That's a smart businessman. So we'll talk about this a little more if y'all want to, but I'm kind of done with it. It's over. The turkey been cooked. You know, just get some mashed potatoes and gravy, eat it, and go on about our business. All right, folks, let's move on to the next thing. I'm running out way out to California. I read something a few days ago, folks. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, just passed a bill about slavery reparation bill. Come on, folks, we got to tackle these hard issues. We know this stuff make people go rah, rah, rah. But we got to talk about it, folks. Oops, drop my mic. But we got to talk about it, folks. We really do. This is important stuff. Is it never too late to correct a wrong, folks? This slavery reparation bill. Is it never too late to correct a wrong? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Got a question for you, folks. Jewish people, folks, they received reparations from Germany in the 50s, folks. To this day going on right now, folks, at this very moment while I'm talking, up to this day right now, Germany has paid over $90 billion to Jewish people. 90 billion, not million, billion, since the 50s. And it's still going on through other programs. What do you think about that, folks? And they wasn't in bondage for over 400 years, folks. This is all that comes to say. We just make a comparison. We ain't downtrodden their plight. We know that was a tragedy, that was wrong, that was horrific, that was terrible. But to this day, 90 billion have been paid out to the Jewish people, which they should get. A lot of them are doing very well because of that, too. Don't you think? 90 billion paid out to the Jewish people since 1950. That's helping somebody. That's helping uplift somebody, right, folks? That's reparations. The Japanese folks. Reparations, folks. During the Civil Liberty Act of 1988. Wasn't too far, a long time ago, was it, folks? I was alive. 1988. They gave Japanese people $20,000 apiece during the Civil Liberties Act of 1988. Look it up, my folks. Look it up. Folks, not to degenerate what happened to them, like I said with the Jewish people too, it was messed up, but they was only in camp for a few years. We was over 400 years. I'm just making comparison, folks, to give you some facts to debate and to argue with whether you for it or not. Some people say, well, we can't give away reparations 400 from 400 years ago. We don't know who's black and we don't know who's it. We don't know who's that. Okay, I got a good one for you, folks. Since the Japanese got in 1988, 20,000 after the doing the Civil Liberties Act. Okay, I'm gonna be fair. Well, it's not really fair, but I'm gonna try to be best as I can. Okay, let's start doing the Jim Crow laws. How's that, folks? Let's start there. Let's start. Let's start from the people in the '60s. There's a lot of people still alive in the '60s. Their descendants are still alive. I'm one of them. Let's start from the '60s. We don't have to go all the way back. That save you some money, right, folks? Right, America? Well, let's save you some money, America. Can you argue that, America? You know what Jim Crow law did, right? Or are you going to deny that, America? Let's start there. Let's not go all the way back. Okay, let's start at the Jim Crow law. Let's start doing reparations then. Is there a problem there, folks? Some people say, no, that's no problem. Some people say, yeah, don't give them nothing. They'll drink it up and smoke it up. Folks, check this out. Let's say y'all do that. Let's just do a scenario that everybody from 1960 on up that's still alive, and if the ones ain't alive, their children get. Let's just use this small number, 20,000, which it should be way more, but we're gonna use 20,000. Jim Crow laws, the way people suffer down there. Is that too much? Would that be a problem? That might solve some of the problem. Then you could say the ones that are the naysayers. That's like I said, this is a hard conversation. We want to be fair. The ones that don't like reparations can say, well, look, we don't gave you, I'm just throwing a number out there. We just gave you 20,000 each. So quit crying about reparations. Let's end this. That'll be the end of that. The country unhealed. We can stop talking about what is that? The 40 acres and a mule. We can leave that conversation out. We gave money. America healed some of her wounds. What's wrong with that? But then you got some out there that still say, no, pick yourself up by your bootstraps and keep moving. Well, if you had bootstraps back then, you probably could move. But back then, you didn't have no bootstraps. But nobody wants to get into that. So what's fair? I just gave you facts, history. Make up your mind what you want to do. Because we're all about healing. Like I said before, folks, is it never too late to correct the wrong? We do it in our justice center all the time. People locked up in jail, 20, 30 years of crime they didn't get. Then they lose all that and they get out and they get a big lump sum of money. We do it all the time. But when it comes to people of color, which you guys created, America, not me, I didn't create it. I look at you as a human being. But when you create this color thing, and then we give you the facts, you want to fight and argue about it. So you tell me, like, subscribe, and comment. You tell me, I know the truth hurts. It does. But if the shoe was on the other foot and your parents suffered in Jim Crow law, because see, I'm not even going to go all the way back. Denied a lot of stuff. Denied owning land, anything. Denied the GI Bill. Segregated in the wars. Fought in every war. Segregation, downtrodden. I'll be glad to give a few dollars just to get that monkey off my back. No fun intended. All right, folks. One more thing, folks. One more thing. October the 7th, prisoners was finally released, the ones that are left and still alive. Thank God for that, because one life taken is too much. I don't care who it is. Black, white, Asian, Filipino, Jew, Arab, whatever it is, it's wrong to take a life. So I'm glad that those people that suffered all those few years was able to come back home. And I feel bad it took us to kill. A lot of people had to die in order to get these few people released. And then the other side had to release thousands. Some people say it's unfair. I think it's unfair. I think it should never been this way. It's sad, folks. So now here we go is who's going to rebuild Gaza? Should the Palestinians rebuild Gaza? If they rebuild Gaza, what they might do, bring Hamas right back in, right? So what do we do, folks? Do a foreign entity has to come in and help out with that and keep it where it don't get crazy? Sometimes that has to work that way. You hate that. You hate that that happens, but sometimes it does. It happens here in America. So we want to thank God that those prisoners were released and other ones that was released on the other side as well. Hopefully they all don't do anything crazy. It's time to keep the peace. A lot of people sacrifice their lives. Let's change that Gaza. Let's make it better for both sides. And Lord willing, it'll happen. We'll pray for that. So, folks, this is Hard Hat Conversations. I'm Richard, stationed in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. Thanks to all was listening. Get y'all something good to eat this evening and have a good night. See ya.